Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. And this is Tanya's telephone from Florida. And so this telephone came in with a note, and she's talking about how there's a 25-foot cord that she sent along with it. And then I'm going to pull the handset down here. And the handset looks like it's in pretty decent shape, but the telephone has some issues here. She only sent in the top part. There was no sense in sending in the bottom part. And we have a hook switch here that's broke, and we're not even going to really worry about that because I'm going to get into some of the other issues with this telephone right now. She has a crystal. There's something here about she needed the cradle repaired and to solder the crystal back on. But there's a little more wrong than just that with this telephone, and we're going to kind of do this initial check out here. We've got a lot of tape on this telephone holding parts together. I'm not real sure how this crystal got out of the network board, but this is kind of like been all taken apart. And I kind of like to get these telephones before people get into them, but a lot of times we don't have much choice. It's just a total mess in here. And basically all these wires that you see all twisted up here, and the PC board is broken free, or it's not attached any longer. And so this telephone has a lot of issues. We're also going to go ahead and take this, basically these wires here, there's 3 or 4 of them that run down into the board that's behind this keypad. And we're going to take the screws out. We might as well just go ahead and take the keypad out and board, because it's not even connected any longer. So it's a little more than just repairing the hook switch and the cradle. Now we're at this point. There's no way that this board is going to work with this network when it's not even connected any longer. And I can see where somebody has soldered some things on here. These wires were probably soldered on, but this is all going to have to totally be straightened out. Now, once in a while, telephones come in like this, and you know, it's just best that I like to try to get a hold of these telephones way before they get to this point where they're just, you know, one big mess. And so I'm not even sure that, you know, for one thing, we're going to have to try to get troubleshoot everything out. It's probably going to take me longer. Here's the end of the line cord that was sticking out. It's probably going to take me longer to get this telephone back together again and troubleshoot it after everything has happened here, how things can, you know, get out of hand pretty quickly. And then this issue with this network just hanging here. And it looks like maybe several people have tried to work on this, you know, through the years or whatever. The problem here with this cradle is this kind of like a pot metal. And at this point, it's not the big issue here. We'll have to get the telephone working before we start worrying about the hook switch. And so there's going to be quite a bit to troubleshoot out here and try to get straightened out. And I'm not sure if the crystal was taken out or if it just fell out, but it probably would have went in this area right here, and maybe it just fell out. It's hard to say, you know, how these phones get in this type of condition. And So it's just one of those things we're going to have to go through and troubleshoot it out and see what we've got. But it is a Majesty telephone, and you know, we get calls on these, and they're pretty sought after. A lot of people call and ask about who made them and things like that. But you know, as far as I know, they were made in Japan. But this shows you the initial checkout and what kind of condition that it has come in at, and what we will probably have to go through to try to straighten this telephone out, if we can even save that board and this network. So we'll just have to go through it and troubleshoot it. Okay, we're back now. I had to take a short break there. I wanted to get some of this kind of gone through. We're still in the troubleshooting process, and I kind of wanted to check it out a little more. And what we found on a little bit of a further inspection was the hook switch. Basically, the wires running up into the hook switch here were only held on by one wire, so they weren't even connected except for one wire. And we have a whole bunch of loose ends here that we're going to have to tie up. I went ahead and went into the keypad and took that apart, and we had to get a lot of that straightened out. Now, we also went and reinstalled our crystal, our 3.5 crystal, and we went and tracked down where our wires came down from our network and reinstalled them. I want to hot glue these. Probably when I put this all back together again, I'm going to have some kind of plug and play situation. So we might put some type of plug in so we can drop these lines down into where the keypad goes and plug them together. That way, when you put the telephone on and you screw the top on, you don't twist all the wires up. And I think that's how this telephone started working its way into getting kind of all messed up and everything tangled like you seen earlier in the video, because you have to screw the top back down. And we still haven't gotten to a point what we're going to do about the hook cradle, because of the fact that we're not even worried about that right now. We have so many other things to worry about, as you've seen earlier in the video. So we're on hook now. We have the telephone, and it's seized the analyzer, and you can see our dial tone. I can actually tap on the transmitter, and you can see the light getting brighter. Now what we want to do is, I've had to go through this board here and do a lot of resoldering. I found a bunch of chunks of solder that were left over. Here's one. There's one right here on this diode, and I want to kind of pick that off. And it just goes to show you that probably whoever soldered, and that just went flying, probably whoever put this telephone together and soldered it probably wasn't real experienced. And I do believe these were made in Japan. So as you can see also, the leads here from our ribbon cable from our board for our touch tone are way too long. I'm going to snip them off. And that just shows a little bit of inexperience, because as you can see, if the video's picking it up, they can bend over and touch each other. We actually, when I got most of this board repaired, we didn't have 0, we didn't have star, and we didn't have pound. And in the series of numbers and the way the rows go, they really don't have anything to do with each other, because they are on different contacts. And so the pound and star are tied together along with the 0, but yet they have a different output for the 0 than they do the star and the pound. And I found over on this board a resistor that was left long and sitting too high up off the board. And basically what it had done was it had been smashed over towards the tone generator IC, and it was blocking and interfering when it was touching one of the pins, these three accesses to our 0, star, and pound. But what we're going to do now, if you watch the analyzer, we're going to walk through our numbers. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, pound, or star, pound. And we're going to go back to 2. So we know our board is working now, and our tone generator IC and board is all working. And I'm going to have to go through here and clean up. I also found on this board, I found some, and resoldered everything, I found some corrosion on the board. And so I want to clean that. We need to clean this dial board, and we also need to snip off all these long edges that are coming up that were left long when it was put together at the factory, and so that we get that taken care of and they don't touch and short out. So basically what it's come down to here is we're kind of in the middle of just taking care of one problem at a time. I'm tapping on the handset, and you can see the light here on the analyzer. I could actually go over here and plug it into a line, a regular telephone line, give you some dial tone, and we'll call, say, like a time and temp number.
Shop our entire location online anytime at Offenburg.com. Today is Friday, January 20th. The time is 1:28. Current temperature 26 degrees. Now the weather forecast for the Belleville area. Partly cloudy tonight, lows around 18. Mostly cloudy on Friday, a high in the low 40s.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the line on that. And at this point, since we have the hook switch wiring harness wired up to be to seize the line, but I could take that off and switch it around and ring the bell at this point. But we have so many loose ends right now that we need to tie up and kind of just take it one step at a time until we get this telephone back into a condition to where we feel comfortable that it's going to be a usable and reliable telephone. So we're just trying to work our way to that point, and we're kind of in the middle of the road here with this troubleshooting process and getting the telephone back to a normal state to where we can get somewhere with it and get it repaired. Usually you see the rotaries, and I have probably had a touch tone or two through the years in the shop, but most of them have been rotaries. And so, you know, this is kind of unique that it's a touch tone, because you see more rotaries than you do the touch tones. And but anyway, we're working in that direction. We've got a good start, and we're just going to stay on track with it until we can get to a point and make that decision. And it looks like it's going to be a repairable telephone, and we're not going to have to add a different board to it or something. I think we're going to be able to use everything we have here and make it a good, decent telephone. So this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is Tanya's telephone from Florida,